In a cave in Oregon, scientists found treasure. Not gold, not bones, fossilized human poop, over 14,000 years old. They were thrilled because that dried-up waste still held DNA, an entire diet, a snapshot of a human life, the oldest trace of people ever found in the Americas, which forces a question you've somehow never asked yourself. You press a lever, it vanishes, and you never think about it. But for 99% of human history, there was no lever, no toilet, no plumbing. So where did ancient humans go to the bathroom? And how did it become one of the deadliest problems our species ever faced? Let's start with the good news, because for most of human history, this genuinely wasn't a problem. The answer is almost boringly simple. You walked a little way from camp, went in the bushes, and left it there. That's it. A band of 30 people, always on the move, does not have a waste crisis. The group is tiny, the land is enormous, and you pack up and wander to new ground long before anything ever piles up. Nature quietly recycles the rest, exactly the way it does for every other animal on the planet. This is the hidden genius of the nomadic life. Constant movement wasn't only about chasing food, it was also, without anyone planning it, the world's very first sanitation system. Leave the mess behind, walk to fresh ground, and let a clean patch of earth do the work. You simply cannot get sick from a pile you wandered away from 3 months ago. Think about it. A deer doesn't have a bathroom. A wolf pack doesn't dig a sewer. They go where they are, and they keep moving, and the world absorbs it. For 300,000 years, that was us too. The question, where did ancient humans go to the bathroom, has a wonderfully dull answer. Over there, and then we left. Nobody invented the toilet, for the same reason nobody invented an umbrella for a fish. There was simply no need for one. Your ancestors were free of the entire problem, because they never stayed still long enough to create it. We are, by design, an animal that was never really meant to live surrounded by its own waste. And that is exactly where it all goes wrong. The disaster began the day we stopped walking away. Around 10,000 years ago, humans settled down to farm, and then packed themselves into villages, and then into crowded cities. And suddenly, thousands of people were producing waste in one fixed spot, every single day, for years and years, right where they slept, cooked, ate, and drank their water. That is a slow-motion catastrophe waiting to happen. Picture it, a town's drinking well, a stone's throw from where everyone relieves themselves, the two slowly, invisibly seeping into each other. That's not a village. That's an outbreak with a population, because human waste is not harmless. It is absolutely loaded with disease, cholera, dysentery, typhoid, the kind of thing that can wipe out a whole town from a single dirty well, and it's crawling with parasites. Remember those coprolites, the fossilized poop scientists dig up? When they study them, they watch the parasite load explode at the exact moment humans settle down. Roundworm, whipworm, tapeworm, thriving in crowded, filthy, stay-in-one-place people. And it took us an absurdly long time to even understand this. As late as the 1850s, London was dumping its sewage straight into the Thames, the very river it drank from, and blaming the resulting cholera on bad air. It wasn't until a doctor named John Snow traced a deadly 1854 outbreak to a single contaminated water pump that we finally, truly grasped it. Our own waste was the killer. And here's a number that should stop you. Contaminated water has killed more human beings across history than every war ever fought, combined. The moment we stopped moving, our own waste turned into the single deadliest predator we would ever face, invisible, silent, and coming from inside us. And children paid the steepest price of all. For most of history, in crowded settlements, a heartbreaking share of them died before growing up. Many killed not by predators or war, but by something as simple and as preventable as dirty water. So we had no choice. We had to invent our way out of a problem we'd created, and we started shockingly early. At Skara Brae, a stone village in Scotland from 5,000 years ago, some of the homes had small drains running out of them, leading some archaeologists to believe those were among the first indoor toilets on Earth. The city of Mohenjo-Daro, around 2500 BC, had private toilets connected to covered drains running under the streets. Real, working plumbing, thousands of years before you'd think. And Rome went industrial, building enormous sewers and grand public latrines, long stone benches lined with holes, where you sat cheek to cheek with total strangers and shared a communal sponge on a stick to wipe. And yes, before you ask, toilet paper is a shockingly recent luxury. For almost all of human history, people used leaves, moss, smooth stones, running water, or that lovely shared Roman sponge, and simply got on with their day. Others turned the problem inside out entirely. In parts of China, human waste was so prized as crop fertilizer that night soil was collected, bought, and sold. One household's mess became another field's harvest, and whole professions existed just to haul it away. But here is the part that nobody tells you, and it might be the most important sentence in this whole video. The toilet, and the sewer running beneath it, is one of the most important inventions in the entire history of the human race. Not the wheel, not the printing press, the drain. In 2007, thousands of doctors were polled on the single greatest medical advance since the year 1840. They did not pick antibiotics. They did not pick vaccines or anesthesia. They picked sanitation, clean water, and carrying our waste far away from us. A humble pipe running quietly under your street has saved more human lives than almost any medicine, any surgeon, or any hospital ever built. We did not defeat disease with heroism, or genius, or luck. We defeated it, more than anything else, by finally, cleverly figuring out where to put our own poop. So that lump of 14,000-year-old waste sitting in a cave in Oregon isn't disgusting. It's a monument. It's a message from an age when the entire world was the bathroom, and it worked perfectly because we never stayed anywhere long enough to poison it. Then we settled down and we built everything we are proud of. The farms, the villages, the cities, civilization itself. And in the very same instant, without meaning to, we built the deadliest problem we have ever lived beside. And then spent the next 10,000 years quietly, stubbornly solving it, one drain at a time. So the next time you press that little lever and it all just disappears, take one honest second to be amazed. That is not a convenience. It is one of the greatest survival machines your species has ever built. The one nobody wants to talk about, silently keeping you alive every single day, that 100,000 generations of your ancestors would have given almost anything to have. For more on how the invisible machinery of your life was really built, subscribe. This is Sketchient. And if you want to know what all that ancient waste actually reveals about what they ate to survive, watch this next.